My name is Michael Simmons. I teach in the advertising option here at Southeast Missouri State. I teach classes, from a 101 class, just a mass comm and society, but most of my classes are 300 level above. I'm teaching creative concepts, advertising media, campaigns class, and media management. A lot of that's because I had a lot of professional experience before I started teaching.
I've had Simmons for about 1.5 years now as a professor. He gives real life experience and just dive in and be charismatic about the work that you do, but also wants to help you, guide you also. But he's not going to sit there and hold your hand the whole way.
Get your product out or get noticed. Cody, what do you think? So bringing those years of experience into the classroom, that's good for the student. I get just as much out of it. I get to see students go from not knowing something about our business to being employable, to saying hey, I'm good at this thing, or I can do this. I don't think anything feeds my heart and soul like teaching does. And the funny little irony of it is that my first major was education. But I thought, I'm not gonna be a teacher, I can't make money, I can't do it. And then all these years later, I wind up right back in the classroom. So it's a funny circle sometimes. So I have these kind of two different jobs, these two different entities, and while both of them are anchored in teaching, it's very different. There's the professional guy who worked in advertising and marketing for a long time, and I want to share that knowledge with students. And then there's this other guy that kind of lives in the same space most of the time. I would recommend straightforward. So we're just going to grab, and then boom. I have taught martial arts for about 30 odd years now, and we specialize in teaching women and kids. What's different is that I can't hit college students. I can't bounce you off a wall. I can't really expose you in the same way to some of those fearful things. But both of them have a certain comfort with pushing people a little bit. They are two different people, though. And I think maybe that's one of the things when you're training people is to help them to find that switch in their head that okay, now I'm going to go from being a nice guy to I'm going to kill you. And they're both in there. That one goes right up through the face. Pain, he's thinking. Over those 30 years, I've had over 1,000 different kids as students. And if you can even touch each little life just a little bit, hopefully that adds up, and that's some good. And we've trained hundreds of women as well, so there have been quite a few students over the years. You got it. Yeah. You got it. Okay. I've studied several different martial arts, and I have belts in several. But I'm a 3rd degree black belt in a karate style, which is more like a hands-oriented, not so many kicks, but lots of hands-oriented. But I've had the opportunity to train in fencing and boxing and judo and taekwondo and stick fighting, and just to try lots of different things. I've gotten my butt kicked by more great people than probably anyone you've met. I don't really talk about it very much because it's almost a separate life in a way. Now, once you come here, you'll see a whole nother side. It's well, that's interesting. Is there overlap? Yeah. I mean, there are parts of me in the classroom that come from this, because I really started doing this before I started teaching at the college level. That was pretty good. You can do better, though. Where's your warrior yell?
So I'm Katie Spears. I'm in MC 429 Simmons. When I first learned he was a black belt, I was like, I don't believe it, because he doesn't look like a scary sort of guy. But then again, how do black belts really look, So, but I definitely think it's cool that he is.
Really? You don't look like? Really? You seem like such a nice guy. Really? You're not, yeah, it's always that.
Once you find out that Simmons has a black belt, you don't want to cross him. And when I found out,
you don't look like, I'm not sure what that is, what that guy looks like.
I was taken back that someone so caring could also kick butt.
But I hear that all the time. You don't look like a, and you know what my answer is? Good. You would not believe the amount of damage that one key will do when you hold it the right way. It'll go into an eye. It'll go into a throat. It's going to hit and hurt. Yeah, okay.
It was a little weird because I didn't want to hurt him because it's like a professional, relationship. But he's awesome. I'd take any of his classes.
Nice. Nice, good shot. All right, do you remember your knee? So we're gonna lean back a little bit, we're gonna drive that knee in hard. I can't tell you why I keep doing this. It's been 30 years. I've broken ribs and a wrist and most of my thumbs and had mild concussions and busted knees and I've gotten hurt a lot. I don't know. But when you see someone else win, it takes it all away.